These people were driving through a nature reserve before they were stopped by an unexpected animal.
Did they? See if it will reach down. Are they not to feed the giraffe?
What's to feed the giraffe?
Yeah.
The giraffe has spotted something in the kid's hands and it wants it. It sticks its neck into the car and manages to get some of the food before the kid is able to pull away directly in the direction of another incredibly aggressive animal. A zebra has now jumped on the Rob the Humans bandwagon and has forced its head directly into the car. What makes this encounter dangerous, albeit seemingly funny, is the fact that zebras can deliver quite a devastating bite. Fortunately for these people, though, they managed to get out without pissing these animals off, for the most part. In this segment, a group of tourists are seen recording a tiger when out of nowhere, this happens.
He's not used to it. He's not used to the vehicle.
Oh my god, he's up. Oh my god, he's gonna jump on us.
This is a very dangerous situation for them, as many healthy tigers in India have been known to attack and hunt humans. After the first charge, they proceed to speed up to keep distance between themselves and the predator, trailing them very closely from behind. The peace only lasts for a few minutes as the animal decides to show its true nature. They manage to outrun the animal with their vehicles, ending the nightmare. South America, a group of tourists on a boat had their tour guide attempt to feed some hungry crocodiles when the unimaginable happened. After spotting the predators from the other side of the river, they decide to get a closer look and park the boat on the shore. Contrary to what most would do, the tour guide jumps in the water with a piece of chicken in his hands and tries to provoke the crocodiles to come closer.
Yeah, I got this.
He finally gets their attention and proceeds to bravely feed them from up close while the terrified tourists are forced to watch.
Wow, that's loud.
Now fearing for his safety, he jumps back on the boat, but still tries to continue the show. Unfortunately, the lady recording isn't at all ready for what's about to happen.
Are you still filming?
Yeah.
Feeling like they've seen enough, the group decides to start up the boat again and leave the crocodiles alone before anyone gets hurt. This clip reintroduces us to perhaps one of the most underrated threats in the African grasslands. An ostrich is chasing after this man and his vehicle, and perhaps shockingly enough, it's managing to keep up. The ostrich attempts a strike with its beak, but the man is prepared for it, slapping the ostrich's attempts aside. The men should be thankful that they kept out of range of the bird's powerful feet. In this clip, a family watches a police officer play with a decently sized alligator, trying to secure it and take it away from a residential area.
No, none of us do. It's weird. You do this often?
We can hear another officer recording the encounter, asking the officer fighting with the animal if he has done this before. Sure enough, he responds with yes. and it shows as you can clearly see how well he deals with the bloodthirsty predator. Despite being fast, alligators are known to tire quickly, and that's why the officer takes advantage of this and gasses the animal out. Now able to handle the wild animal with ease after tiring it out, the officer then proceeds to do something extremely risky. Fortunately, the situation gets taken care of and no one gets hurt. These tourists have found themselves face to face with a Cape buffalo. For those that think this animal poses no threat, I would suggest researching just why this juggernaut is referred to as the Black Death. You could be forgiven for thinking that this beast wants pets, only in theory. The guide is leaning away from the buffalo, understanding full well that though this animal is curious for the moment, it could all change in an instant.
No. 26. No. Okay.
The buffalo kicks the car in an attempt to get closer to the driver, and he immediately realizes that it's time to leave. That was a closer call than these innocent tourists realized. At the beginning of this next clip, two hunters can be seen recording a large Ontario moose standing on the dirt road. They record the animal walking around the road, seemingly in awe of its large body and antlers. These dangerous and nervous animals can often reach weights of 800 pounds, which makes the following scenes more terrifying.
We got Cody gonna pet the moose now at 10 yards.
The animal and the man stare at each other for a while, but when the hunter turns his back to end the encounter, this happens.
Watch out!
He surprisingly notices in time, which gives him time to react and grab his rifle. Luckily for him, the animal retreats as soon as it sees him grabbing his gun. Near Grand Harbor, Texas, YouTuber Jordan Armacost decided to bring his dog Arya on an exciting kayaking trip. Little did he know those waters were unfortunately infested with hungry alligators. While calmly paddling around the lake, the man immediately pulls his dog away from the ledge as he spots the head of an alligator poking out of the water, probably waiting for its chance to snatch poor Arya away.
Arya, come here. Arya, come here. Come here. Come here. I for real think that was a gator right there.
He attempts to leave the area, but is once again forced to pull his dog back after seeing another gator head.
You better stay on here, girl. Sit down. Sit down. Oh, Arya, stay. Stay. F***ing A.
Now seriously fearing for his and Arya's lives, he turns the kayak around and paddles as fast as he can away from those dangerous predators. I hope he doesn't go back there with his dog anytime soon. While starring in a show named Running Wild with Bear Grylls, a man named Joseph Gordon-Levitt got the adventure of a lifetime after stumbling upon a huge crocodile at the wrong time. The show begins with Joseph and Bear Grylls running around the hot African canyon trying to navigate the rocky terrain as best they could.
What you got to remember is that we're out in the middle of Africa and you've got to always be on the ball. Can you smell that?
Yeah. I thought it was the dung in my backpack.
After going down a steep ledge, they continue their journey, only to find a rotting buffalo corpse near a body of murky water. However, what they discover in that water is even more terrifying.
Maybe I'm seeing things. Whoa. It's a decent-sized croc as well.
They proceed to take the buffalo from the crocodile to use for dinner later, Bear Grylls stealing the buffalo corpse while Joseph takes on crocodile duties.
If the croc comes, push him away with that fork. He's also seeing his meal go away, so he's not going to be that happy. Oh my God, look.
Thankfully, Joseph managed to keep the crocodile at bay with a stick, while Bear Grylls took the buffalo's head to scavenge what they could out of it. Jeremy from the show River Monsters readies his equipment at the beginning of the video as he is planning to catch something big. A few minutes of waiting later, his line tugs and he quickly gets to work trying to haul in whatever he caught. The intense fight lasts over 20 seconds, and what he caught will give you nightmares for nights to come.
It's a piranha. Wow.
He caught a piranha, which could easily chop off his finger if he does not handle it with extreme caution. Thankfully, what he caught is not a red-bellied piranha, which is known to be the most aggressive type.
I think that's fairly clear. This is what's been taking my bait, and, you know, talk about caught red-handed, there's the evidence. Chunky piranha.
The video does not show what he did to the animal, which was likely released. On the edge of a river in Australia, a group of tourists witnessed something unthinkable when their brave tour guide attempted to hand-feed a large and hungry crocodile. Before anything, the tourists begin recording, as the man can be seen splashing his tasty piece of meat in the water to attract the crocodile's attention. With the huge predator now just a few feet away from him, the man continues to put on a show by teasing the animal when things suddenly take a horrifying turn.
Quiet, please.
With everyone there still in shock by what just happened, they proceed to observe the huge animal for a few more minutes before cutting their cameras completely. At the beginning of the video, a group of hunters can be seen waiting for a small herd of Cape buffalo to finish passing through. While passing through, one of the animals notices the hunters and looks at them, but continues walking forward. A couple of steps later, he looks at them again and proceeds to do something unexpected. A Cape buffalo can run up to 35 miles per hour, so it could close the distance between them extremely quickly. Unfortunately, the clip ends before we find out what happened next. These lucky tourists are experiencing something that not many do, an extremely close encounter with the fastest land animal in the world. The cheetah seems to see the people as absolutely no threat, clambering into their vehicle and even laying down to get some rest.
Because she's so fast.
That gives the tourists the opportunity to play with the cheetah's tail. Seriously, this woman seems too happy around its tail, at times bizarrely so.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Eventually, after having its dignity torn apart and its tail sniffed to the fullest, the cheetah decides enough is enough and leaves. That encounter was more weird than majestic. In Saskatchewan, a pair of friends had a horrifying day when they encountered a black bear that didn't seem to be intimidated by their presence at all. The video starts out with two men in the wild observing their surroundings from the safety of a tree while one of them records the experience. While looking around, the explorers spot a black bear nuzzling up to a blue tank, and they begin to focus on it silently. Suddenly noticing that it is being watched, the bear snaps its neck in the direction of the men and proceeds to do the unthinkable. Now in such proximity to the bear, the men decide to stay still and quiet so as not to attract its attention. Luckily for the men, the bear does not look in their direction, and after a few minutes it returns to the ground, leaving them to their own devices. This unlucky camper went through a real-life nightmare after he saw two large and hungry lions right outside his tent. The clip starts off intensely as it shows a camper inside his tent attempting to scare off the two large predators, trying to make him their dinner. The animals keep harassing him by poking the tent with their sharp claws and getting their faces in front of the tent door. Despite it being the only thing keeping the lions from reaching him, the man repeatedly opens the tent door, taunting the predators even more. Thankfully, the lions eventually leave him alone, enabling him to go outside and escape. Brave Wilderness's Coyote Peterson is no stranger to dangerous animals, but in this clip, he encountered something that was more than he bargained for. This terrifying encounter starts off with Coyote and his crew attempting to track an enormous American alligator.
See, this is how we were able to track him. All of the sawgrass is kind of matted down. And at the end, we probably have about a 10-foot alligator.
After tracking it down, Coyote talks to the camera all about the alligator until he decides that he needs to do something dangerous in order to get a closer look.
You have to respect the American alligator. He can take out my legs with a single swing.
Eventually, though, he feels unsatisfied with the footage they've gotten so far and decides to spice things up by doing the unthinkable.
Wow! Okay, you hear that hiss? He's not exactly happy to have me on his back. Okay, go ahead, you guys can get in a little bit closer.
After getting a chance to wrestle with the dinosaur, he finally decides that it's time to let it back into the wild, but not before trying one last thing.
1, 2, 3. Now, These reptiles are built like tanks. Yeah, he said, all right, I've had enough of the underwater business.
Thankfully, he evades the attack and manages to keep his hands intact as he ends the video, leaving the animal alone and everyone safe. If you think being inside a car protects you from lions, this clip will make you think again. In the beginning, it all starts off with a male lion curiously investigating a car full of terrified people.
What you doing, boy? Oh, you're trying to get these horrible people in there.
Kevin Richardson, the well-known lion whisperer, then comes to the rescue as he attempts to call the male lion away from the car. Despite his numerous efforts to call the predator away, it does not listen and instead becomes more curious, leading to this.
No, he's got to flip him around. Stop.
After this, he is left with no choice but to tell the driver to drive away, as the lion seems unable to lose interest. As the car drives away, more lions get intrigued and start to chase it, which makes the situation even more dangerous.
Just keep going.
Fortunately, the predators decide to leave the car alone after it drives further away. This couple is stopped in their tracks by the tallest land animal in the world. And it seems more inquisitive than anything, taking its time to inspect the man and his helmet. The man, though, seems understandably a little nervous. One quick headbutt from the giraffe could easily break his neck, but the giraffe merely seems to be checking these people out. What a truly magical encounter. Kruger National Park, a group of tourists on an exciting safari drive, unfortunately had a few hungry lions come and ruin the fun. Initially, everyone on the tour bus seems to be peacefully observing the animals up ahead when they suddenly notice a group of lions to their left.
I've never seen such a thing. And they're getting closer and closer. Look how focused they are.
As time goes on, the predators appear to be tensing up and adopting a more hostile position, which unfortunately triggers one of the buffaloes to get defensive. Unfortunately for the lions, the rest of the herd also decides to get involved and join the fight. Eventually, the predators manage to get left alone and proceed to walk away from there in one piece. A seemingly average expedition in Greenland, a group of researchers had their day turn into a living nightmare when they were dangerously approached by a hungry polar bear. Before anything, things seem to be going well as they prepare to leave their camp when they suddenly spot the predator lurking a few hundred feet away.
Oh, he's really checking us out now. If he does get close, we're exactly right for me to use the bear spray because it's downwind. Yeah, I honestly think he's going to walk past us.
After a few stressful minutes, the hungry polar bear unfortunately gets way too close for their liking, and they bravely decide to try and scare it away.
Do you want to put the flare off? Yeah.
With everyone there now seriously worried for their safety, the animal continues to calmly roam around their camp for a few more minutes, but eventually loses interest and simply swims away from them altogether. This terrifying video from Turkey begins with a man staring at something unusual. As some moments passed, that unusual thing turned out to be the worst beast he could encounter there. The man immediately fled the scene, but his dog clashed with the hungry bear in the snow. Both the animals exchanged blows, but the bear sadly outpowered the dog. In the end, the bear was left alone in the frame, as the man had already fled the scene, and the dog also took to his heels. Nonetheless, the encounter was indeed petrifying, and I am happy everyone made it out alive. On a sunny day in South Africa, a group of men's average safari expedition quickly turned for the worse after being chased down by a territorial male lion. At first, things seemed to be going according to plan as they simply observed the predators roaming around the plains up ahead. Out of nowhere, though, they noticed one of the lions beginning to walk in their direction.
Quickly, let's go back. Quickly, go. Go.
Even after backing away quite a bit, the hungry predator sadly decides that he won't let them go so easily. Now, fighting for their lives, the men continue to fire warning shots towards the animal, all while running as fast as they can. Eventually, the lion thankfully decides to spare them. This terrorizing clip begins by showing two men walking towards a residential pond, which is allegedly home to a giant and aggressive alligator.
Look at that snakehead right there. Do you see that snakehead?
Yeah.
Oh, he's big.
Upon seeing the alligator, they don't waste time and immediately get to work attempting to catch it, but things don't remain peaceful for long.
Oh, that is a big gator.
The struggle goes on for a few minutes as they seem to be having a pretty hard time pulling the heavy animal away from the pond.
Do not let him go back. He's trying to go back.
After successfully catching the predator by its neck, one of them proceeds to do the riskiest move by far in an attempt to hold it down.
Hold this full.
Push it down on him?
No, I'm gonna pull it up.
Now that the enormous reptile's mouth is sealed shut, they finally gain the confidence to haul the giant animal to their truck. The rest of the extraction goes smoothly, thanks to their skills and experience. In this clip, filmed from Russia, a large and aggressive bear can be seen trying to charge the man recording the encounter multiple times. In the video, it can be seen that the man is holding his rifle ready in case the predator decides to make a move. After the bear fails to scare him, the man decides to try something bold before considering shooting the animal. Bears are easily scared of confrontation with humans, as they have learned through time and experience that humans pose a great danger to them. The animal then gets scared of the man's advancements and decides to leave him alone. In eastern British Columbia, an adventurous hiker almost had a heart attack after coming face to face with an unexpected guest on the trail. At the start of the video, the nature lover is seen running down a rather narrow trail while recording his experience on a GoPro attached to his chest.
Coming up on your left. Thanks.
For quite a while, all appears to be going smoothly, and then, out of nowhere, a giant grizzly bear pops out and does this. Frightened by the sight of the predator charging at him, the hiker immediately picks up the pace and starts sprinting away as fast as he can. The video comes to an end as the man, thankfully, seems to have managed to escape from that situation unharmed. This terrifying video opens by showing us a bobcat stuck in a leg hold trap that was set up by the person recording the encounter. He then proceeds to try and lock the animal using a catch pole, leading to this to happen. The man and the predator struggle for a few minutes, but when the cat starts to slowly lose consciousness, he does this.
Come on. Act right. Here we go.
After releasing the animal, he wakes it up, which proves to be a big mistake when it decides to do this.
Get. They get like this sometimes.
Thankfully, both parties remain unharmed throughout this petrifying and stunning encounter. These rangers are attempting to transport this rhino and her calf somewhere, but she's not making life easy. She causes an absolute ruckus inside the truck, almost crushing the men inside. Eventually, they manage to get outside and transport the tank, only she's still not very happy and is causing the whole truck to violently shake.
Run out together.
What? Come here! Open the truck door!
But Mum's an angry rhino, and she takes it out on her calf.
After nearly falling off the truck, two brave rangers pick up the responsibility to open the door and let the rhino out, and it truly is a heart-and-mouth moment, because it seems the rhino has other ideas on her mind. Despite stopping for a moment, she decides to leave and take her calf to safety. That could have ended in an extremely nasty fashion. Taken during a hunting video, this clip begins with a man being recorded preparing to shoot a large black bear sitting in a tree.
Aim just a hair high right there. Bust him in his lungs.
While this is going on, another hunter is stationed right under the tree, just in case they need him. After preparing, the man finally decides it's time to take his shot. However, things don't go quite as planned. After missing his first shot, the bear jumped down the tree and started chasing the unlucky hunter nearby. The video ends abruptly, so it is unclear what the outcome was. A spear fisherman dives into the depths of the ocean, searching for fish to hunt, expecting it to be another normal fishing trip. Moments later, he gets a sense of someone, or rather something, watching him, and surely enough, when he looks back, he sees this. He doesn't get a clear view of what he saw in the distance, but he still begins to panic, knowing that it was no ordinary fish. He begins swimming up to escape, but it's already too late. Seconds later, this happens. Thankfully, the shark decided to leave him alone, or things could have ended differently. At the beginning of this elephant encounter, two tourists, along with a tour guide, can be seen trying to walk past an elephant. In doing so, they somehow trigger the animal so it proceeds to charge them.
I love my boy. Oh, steady, steady. Whoa, hey, steady, my boy, steady, 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 my boy, steady.
This comes as a surprise for the tour guide, as elephants are not usually aggressive toward humans unless provoked. Now at a standstill, the guide tries to calm the giant down when all of a sudden it does this.
Hey, 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 steady. No, don't move. Hey, 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 hey. Boy, stop, stop, my boy, steady, steady.
The tourists keep calm and back away slowly, although they are reminded of how brutal nature can be when the animal showcases its wild nature.
Hey, 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 stop, hey, hey, steady, 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 no, hey, 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 no, no, come on, that's enough, that's enough.
Fortunately, the elephant did not follow through, or this would have been a different story. A supposedly long and drawn-out hunt almost ended in the most gruesome way imaginable after the hunter became the hunted. This terror-striking encounter begins with the man recording a bear trying to sniff him out from the ground under his little tree stand. Moments later, the bear spots him and doesn't waste any time and proceeds to climb up towards the hunter with a menacing look. Fortunately, the bear goes back down, giving the man the chance to grab his shotgun and pepper spray. Expecting the worst, he prepares and aims down his weapons as the bear decides to pull off one terrifying move.
Hey, bear. Hey, bear. Down, bear. Get down.
Thankfully, the hungry bear gets the message and leaves him alone, ending the close call. This intense clip begins by showing a man screaming at an enormous elephant using a truck as a shield.
Hey! Hey, hey! Hey! Flee here, flee here, flee here, flee here.
Despite being gentle giants, elephants can cause serious harm to a person in a snap. After the warning shot, the animal refuses to leave the people alone, and they continue to stand their ground.
Hey, Jugger! Hey, Jugger! Hey!
Thankfully, the situation did not escalate further, and everyone is safe. During a boat trip in crocodile-infested waters, a group of tourists encountered an enormous crocodile that scared them straight. At the beginning of the clip, the group encounters a large predator lying on the shores of a seemingly peaceful yet dangerous river.
Holy f***. Bro, just watch him. I don't want to tip this boat over. Dad. Look how big he is. Dad. Oh, get back. Oh,
As they get closer to the crocodile, the man recording urges them to stay away, yet they are too late, because the predator already has its eyes on them.
that's huge. That's huge. Dad! Oh!
Speeding off as fast as they can, the cameraman struggles to hold the camera steady after being terrified by the massive animal.
Get it back! I don't want him coming up to the boat.
Thankfully, the enormous creature does not pursue them any further, as the group is left on guard, knowing a large predator lurks under them. To start this encounter off, a small rhino family can be seen in the middle of the road, blocking the trucks. The animal seems agitated, as it looks like it's protecting a female rhino that is nursing a small calf. Already extremely protective creatures by nature, this instinct is further enhanced when a rhino calf is involved in the situation. Moments later, one of the trucks sees a chance to pass them, and what happens next shows how these animals are the tanks of nature. Luckily for everyone in the truck, the rhino fails to hit them, leaving them unharmed. A zoo trip quickly turned grim after a man fell into an enclosure where a pair of male and female lions made sure to greet him below. A man who appears to have fallen accidentally into a lion enclosure can be seen in the beginning of this heart-racing clip. The crowd screams in fear and terror while the man attempts to scare the large predators, trying to get closer to examine him. The large predators continue to approach him despite his best efforts to make himself look as big and terrifying as possible, with the hopes of scaring the lions away. Miraculously, both lions lose interest in the man, giving him time to safely escape. At the beginning of this next frightening encounter, a hunter can be seen recording himself sneaking up behind a feeding moose. As soon as the animal notices his presence, it gives him a taste of what it can do.
Hey, poor alien.
Despite its large stature, the man seems to be unafraid of the moose and proceeds to walk towards it.
Men det var inte farligt. Ja? Kom se. Kom se.
Moose will charge and kick in order to protect themselves, so this man approaching a wild moose will surely not end well. After walking to the animal, he looks away for a split second, giving the herbivore the perfect chance to strike.
Oh ja, det var inte farligt. Va? Nej, det är kompisen. Du håller vi inte bort. Så.
The clip sadly ends there, and what happens after that is not clear. This wildlife photographer has managed to capture quite the magical encounter. 5 cheetahs in his car. For the most part, the cheetahs seem to be lounging in the car, kicking back and relaxing from their day-to-day business, I presume. However, our photographer then proceeds to give us different angles of the cheetahs, and let me tell you, being in such close proximity of these animals must be truly enchanting. Having so many cheetahs on and around your car must make for some incredible content, and the photographer certainly doesn't disappoint with the pictures he's taken of them. Now that is the beauty of nature. A man puts on his GoPro attached to his headgear in order to film a point-of-view video of him kayaking. After putting it on, he proceeds to start moving forward, which is quickly stopped by an angry resident of the ocean. He fights with the animal, hitting it with his paddle, but failing to deter the extremely aggressive predator. Known to be aggressive hunters, the hammerhead waves off the pain of getting hit multiple times and continues the assault. The fight goes on for several minutes, until finally the shark gives up, letting the man breathe again. Thankfully, he didn't fall from his kayak, or things could have gotten worse. During a hunting trip in Saskatchewan, one man got the experience of a lifetime after he came face to face with a hungry black bear. The clip begins with the man recording a video of the animal climbing up a tree where he was initially settled. He sits still while he records the predator getting closer and closer as it eventually reaches the top, striking him with fear. With incredible calmness, the brave hunter manages to keep his composure despite being in an extremely dangerous situation. Fortunately, the bear eventually loses interest in the hunter and it climbs down, leaving him breathless. The video begins with wildlife creator Styrin explaining to the camera how she found a spitting cobra in her backyard. After explaining the situation, she begins to clear the area where the snake was hiding to have an easier time catching it.
So I have to be very careful because they can spit. That's why I'm wearing my safety glasses. Yeah, this might take a while.
The spitting cobra has evolved to detect the faces and eyes of primates to achieve almost perfect accuracy when spitting venom. Knowing this, Styrin tries her best to avoid getting the venom in her eyes and remains cautious.
Next, there we go. Oh, more venom. More venom! Yes, he's spitting all over me.
After a while, she finally manages to grab the cobra, but while showing it to the camera, she almost loses her life in the process.
Okay, the reason why I'm in love, with this species.
Surprisingly, she manages to dodge the attack, avoiding a fatal outcome. In a South African reserve, a group of tourists thought it'd be a good idea to observe a huge male lion trying to eat its dinner in peace. After a few minutes, though, the predator notices their presence and begins showing clear signs of discontent. The tourists unfortunately fail to get the message and continue their observation like normal when the unthinkable happens. Thankfully, it stops in its tracks right at the edge of the fence, and everybody is left unharmed. This spine-chilling adventure starts off with two friends from Florida who manage to capture an alligator from a nearby river. Without wasting any time, the pair set to work rendering it harmless, and the first step to accomplish that is this.
Put it right on top of his eyes. There you go. Fight. Do you want to grab him?
After that, one of the boys gets on top of the alligator, and together the pair carry out the next step of their interesting plan.
Hold him like that. You got him? Reese's Puffs, Reese's Puffs. Eat 'em up, eat 'em up, eat 'em up.
Now certain that the dangerous reptile has been rendered harmless, one of the boys proceeds to pick it up and does this.
With the other hand under his tail and pick him up. You look like a complete Floridian right there, son.
Satisfied with the footage they have captured, the boys carefully cut open the tape around the animal's mouth and release it. The video ends as the brave friends reminisce about their adventure. This video opens by showing a guy talking to the camera, when all of a sudden something comes out from the tall grass.
Oh, that didn't fight.
Damn, dog! That dog just came to me!
Surprisingly, the man catches it, despite boars being able to reach speeds of up to 25 miles per hour. After catching the animal, he pins it to the ground while talking to his friend, amazed at what just happened. In the beginning of this first terrifying encounter, a man can be seen recording a great white shark he encountered while spearfishing. The shark slowly swims in front of the man, appearing to just be cruising around, not looking for any trouble. Despite their scary reputation, sharks rarely ever attack humans and would much rather feed on fish and marine mammals. Knowing this, the diver keeps his calm, but everything quickly turns south after the predator does something unexpected. The large shark turns around and swims toward him, shocking the diver, although he surprisingly manages to still stay calm. The predator doesn't attack, though, and continues swimming away. Two men are walking on a trail in the woods, trying to find a good spot to camp and take a break.
There you go, folks. Look, his sidearm's on his right hip, and he's holding a bucket in his right hand. That's going to slow him down. Look at there, he's got it in the right hand now.
One of the pair decides to record and comment on their trek when out of nowhere something comes out of the bushes.
We got something, folks. There, he's charging. Hey, hey, hey!
The incredibly large bear charges at them and immediately retreats back into the bushes for cover. The men then proceed to walk backwards, cautious of the bear showing itself again to attack them.
We gotta get in the open. Bear's charging.
Don't push it. Don't run. Don't run. Close, Derek.
Keep up.
Thankfully, they were able to go back to safety unharmed. In this next clip, a man can be seen recording a traffic jam caused by an agitated elephant blocking the road. This is a very unusual sight, since elephants are normally peaceful animals and are often only aggressive when nursing young calves. But after a while, they start to move forward after the herbivore goes off the road, giving them their chance to move. Following the cars ahead of him, the person recording starts to move forward too, when all of a sudden things take a dark turn. The clip cuts prematurely, leaving the aftermath of the incident unknown. The beginning of this video shows a group of friends trying to catch a big fish by using a smaller fish as bait.
Turning, going this way, it's right here.
Not having much luck with their fishing, one of them decides to record the experience and the scenery, when out of nowhere she captures this.
Oh my god!
Sharks are able to detect food from several hundred yards due to their incredible sense of smell. Thinking it was the end, they all laugh. But little did they know, the predator is still planning to give them one last surprise. Thankfully, no one was hurt during this frightening close encounter. This next terrifying encounter shows a man in a small kayak cruising down a very murky river in the middle of a dense jungle. After a while, they start to slowly approach a small opening in the jungle, only for a very unexpected creature to emerge from the shadows.
Paknya, situ aja. Situ aja, Apa-apaan ini?
Male crocodiles are said to grow to as much as 20 meters in length, which is all the more surprising when the man appears to be unbothered. Despite the size of the predator, the man starts feeding it with his bare hands and even decides to pet the animal on its head.
Sayap lagi, sayap. Nih, pegang bapak dulu. Lindu bapi, lindu. Lindu na papiku ini.
Moments later, he runs out of food and starts thinking about leaving, but not before he does something extremely shocking.
Tutup matanya. Bapak cayang dulu ya. Bismillah. Pajinay ko.
Thankfully for him, the crocodile keeps its patience and lets him leave unscathed. The beginning of this next encounter shows a man recording a small group of moose running around and chasing each other in a field. While recording the animals, one of them suddenly sees him recording and decides to do something bone-chilling. Able to reach speeds of 35 miles per hour, the animal covers the distance between it and the man in an instant. He proceeds to climb a nearby tree quickly to avoid the charge after seeing that there was nothing stopping the charging moose. Fortunately, he manages to avoid the charge, and the herbivores walk away shortly after. What this man thought to be a drunk roommate coming home and stumbling around turned out to be something much more terrifying. The clip starts off with the cautious man recording a huge and hungry predator walking around his living room.
We have a bear inside of our house right now. We have a bear inside of our house. Holy.
A few seconds after he started recording, the bear notices him recording from the stairs, leaving it with no choice but to run after him. As the bear makes its way upstairs, he runs to his room and looks back one last time, only to see this.
Oh God, wait.
Whoa! Oh my God!
After reaching his room, he talks with his scared roommate, who tells him that the predator went back downstairs. Unfortunately, the clip ends abruptly, and what happens next remains unknown. This UFC fighter gets the fight of his life after he accidentally hooks a large alligator during a fishing trip. He and his friend laugh at their situation and are obviously not taking this scary encounter very seriously. This can be a big mistake, as alligators are very strong swimmers and can overpower you in a deadly game of tug-of-war.
Look at this guy. We only got mine.
They even decide to move their boat closer to the animal, taking none of this seriously. Easy 7 feet. The alligator manages to break free and swim away, which is lucky for them. A bear approaches two terrified hikers, desperately trying their best to scare the bear away and escape danger. Despite yelling at it multiple times, the predator still charges forward, refusing to be scared and standing its ground. The encounter is very intense, as the animal's body language shows the bear already considering attacking both of the hikers. The back and forth only lasts a couple of seconds before the hikers eventually decide to take charge and do this.
Hey!
Wait till he gets close with the bear spray.
Hey!
Unfortunately, the clip ends abruptly, and what happens next remains unknown. The clip starts off with a man recording a large black bear approaching him during his hike in the snowy mountains of Oregon.
Hey.
At first, his voice sounds relaxed and calm, but this quickly changes when the bear decides to do this.
Get out here. Get out here. Hey. 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 Hey.
It's a good thing that black bears are less aggressive than brown bears, or else it would have been a completely different story. Thinking the bear has already backed up, the man checks his surroundings again, only to find this.
Hey. I'm gonna shoot you. Hey!
Thankfully, the animal backs away and leaves him unharmed during the encounter. A South African safari, a group of tourists thought it'd be a good idea to park their car right next to a group of lions trying to relax. Unfortunately, they quickly regret their decision after getting the attention of one of the more curious lions.
There's a locked door. Oh my gosh, I didn't know they could do that.
Still in utter shock, they now thankfully decide to lock their doors and proceed to drive away before anything else occurs. South Africa. A couple tourists quickly started recording after spotting a male lion running up the hill towards them. Immediately, one of the tour guides decides to do his job and bravely confronts the predator face to face. Luckily, the male lion decides to spare the man and continues on his original path up the hill. Thankfully, he simply resorts to laying down next to the female lion, and the tourists, sadly, decide to stop recording.